already been killed, reports Al Jazeera on the side of the Russian Federation. They recounted how they came under attack by a Ukrainian drone in the temporarily occupied Donetsk region. "We didn't know that it would be this dangerous," said Senaka. Promised citizens of Sri Lanka that they would be involved in bunker duty. However, the Ukraine hit the bunker where the mercenaries were. Hundreds of citizens of Sri Lanka are on the side of Russia against Ukraine. Most of them joined the war for a salary of $3,000 and the prospect of obtaining Russian citizenship. It's that some of the mercenaries have already been killed. According to Daily News Hungary, an allegedly Hungarian pro-Russian group has been recruiting Hungarian mercenaries through Russian social media with promises of high citizenship and social support in exchange for fighting against Ukraine. Called Legion of St. Stephen began recruiting mercenaries for the Russian military in September 2020. Is open to all nationalities. Hungarians enjoy priority in admission. The group offers a high salary, the exact amount, and citizenship. Recently, the National Resistance Center reported that occupied territory observed the arrival of more Kremlin mercenaries, bringing in fighters from Cuba and Nepal. Reuters also reported that India has asked Russia for the early release of representative of the coordinating headquarters for.
They do not even specify tricks why this thing is blank and black written in different style or by the Russian propaganda. Else we can handle everything in thought. More proves that it is fake.
$4.5 million caution.
What does the Ukraine snipers are equipped with a weapon that can kill soldiers at distances never before thought possible?
Russia. On the basis of a falsified criminal case, Gelyal was sentenced to 17 years in a strict regime penitentiary. While in captivity, the political prisoner to Ukrainian people expressing his faith in liberation and victory. Monk Ivan Levitch of the Nativity of the Blessed Virgin Mary, Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church. After the occupation of the city, he continued to pray with the congregation. On November 16th, he was detained in the evening of the same day as Levitsky. Both monks were tortured. Units and received new equipment. They apparently also received 1A3 IFVs, according to footage published by Suspilna Ukraine. This goes in line with the link to the Ukraine, as the government published the delivery of another 20 Martyr 1A3s to Ukraine. The public by the German government is usually at least 1 or 2 weeks delayed. And the 3rd Brigade confirmed operating the German-made IFVs after the 25th Separate Airborne Sicheslav Brigade and the 80th and the first one operating them outs. In mid-January, the 10th Army Corps published an image of a Martyr 1A3, but there never was any brigade, which is part of the Army Corps, actually operating them. Although the 100th Separate Mechanized Brigade is part of the 10th Army Corps, we never saw footage of them operating the German-made IFVs until now. So there are still some me. Instead of 1,000 words, the British military sees off Ukrainian soldiers who have finished their training and are returning to Ukraine.
Героям слава! Слава Україні! Слава Україні! Добрий вечір! Вітаємо! Підходьте! Слава Україні! Героям слава! Слава Україні! Героям слава!
The Ukraine war, a conflict of immense magnitude, rages national politics. A complex mosaic of events shifting along. It's a story that continues to evolve. Ukraine finds itself at the center of a geopolitical storm. The recent escalation in the war has seen a flurry, adding a new realized Russia's unwavering resolve in the face of adversity, and served as a stark reminder retaliated with an air attack on Russia toward the high stakes in this war. From Armenia, amidst the significations of this conflict. Amid the turmoil, Ukraine appointed a new ambassador to the UK, intent to strengthen international alliances. Yet, in a parallel development, the Ukrainian minister was dismissed, hinting at internal strife within the country's leadership. Adding fuel to the fire, a Russian oil processing plant was targeted situation further. This assault on yet the specter of the casting a somber shadow over the festivities. In conclusion, the Ukraine shaped global politics in significant ways. Retaliatory air attack to diplomatic, each event adds a new dimension to this complex conflict. Amidst the chaos, the appointed minister highlight the nation's internal dynamics and international relations. Meanwhile, the attack on the Russian oil plant underscores the volatile potential for far-reaching impacts. As the world watches with bated breath, the Ukraine war remains a poignant testament to the complexity of international politics.
Appears to show upon the firing of Russian missiles to a fear a ball. Used long-range ballistic U.S. last month in the bombing of a Russian military airbase in Crimea and Russian forces in another occupied territory. The ATACMS aid package signed by President. With the medium range of the weapon, Ukraine has almost doubled its strike range to 300 kilometers. According to the pro-Ukrainian partisan group Atesh, the missile station center in the city of Alushta, Kiev forces.
In the theater of international politics, where the stakes are incredibly high, the tension between Russia and the West has reached a fever pitch. The deployment of tactical nuclear weapons, threats from the West. The roots of this tension trace back to 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine. At that time, the world watched and moved into Ukraine, a nation more Western orientation. Western officials expressed their support for Ukraine, a stance that ignited the ire of the Russian administration. European countries voiced for the tension continued to build. Putin's order for military drills involving tactical nuclear weapons marks a new chapter in this ongoing narrative. This move, seen as a direct response to the perceived threats from the West, has further strained relations between Russia and the West. The international community has reacted with alarm to Putin's order. Fear of a potential nuclear conflict has sparked global concern, adding another layer of complexity to the already tense situation. The world watches as this tension unfolds, hoping for a peaceful resolution. In summary, the tension between Russia and the West has been building for years, culminating in Putin's order for tactical nuclear weapons drills. This tension has its roots in Russia's invasion of Ukraine in 2022 and has been exacerbated by Western support for Ukraine, perceived threats from the West, and Russia's ongoing military activities in Ukraine. The world now waits in anticipation. The stakes have never been higher. The world watches, waits, and hopes for a peaceful resolution.
тебе пизда. Ну давай, говорит, покурим. Я говорю, ну давай. Блять. Сдавайся, блядь! Бегом марш! Да, пацаны, быстрее, потому что сейчас ваши за нахуй. А тут вы сколько получаете? 200? 5 землю охраняю.
Useful, absolutely. Game changer. So one of the things that they're going to be adding in to effectively the air defense system that Ukraine has. So they're going to be very capable. Now, we're going to be seeing some very strikes and supporting troops on the front line. They're probably not going to be used in air-to-air combats. They're shifting the balance of the conflict.
Have so far agreed to supply just
Ukrainian armed forces will abandon the coast, killing 4 people and injuring 151 others. Meanwhile, drones to attack oil installations on Russian territory.
And so the conflict began, setting the stage. The structural community's response highlighted the complexities highlighted the complexities of global alliances and the far. The war hurt many people in Ukraine to other countries. Others moved to safer. This was very hard for families.
Many people lost everything they had.
Sadness in Ukraine and Russia, loved ones. The war also affected people around the world.
Ukraine and Russia grow a lot of the world's grain. With the war, less food was sent out. This made it hard for poor countries to get enough food. The war's effects reached.
This is a year of war. Both the war could go on for a long time. Both countries think they can win.
The world keep watching and helping Ukraine, but people
can
about security.
This war will be felt for many years to come.
Continues unabated. their offensive on the battlefield in search of a decisive breakthrough in terms of
lines. Reuters cited an unnamed U.S. official who said the Russian army began the war with 3,100 tanks, even packed with explosives, various types, including more than 200 of the T-90 variety remaining, with up to 4,000 tanks in storage. Russia's God of historically been known, has Italian gunners, but is still playing a vital battlefield role. It had to the ISS. Ukraine claims to have destroyed more than 10,700 in the fighting to wield its numerical superiority in the early stages of the war. Regular sorties and supported by have put much of the national
stance is on the Ukraine war. Delve into a chronicle of events, Ukraine war, leading up to a recent and unexpected predictor in China. Launched an aggressive campaign. Actions varied from outright condemnation to complex diplomatic nations navigating these treacherous geopolitical